We're in East Windsor Hill, Connecticut, 10 miles north of Hartford, the capital. And the Redland brick plant has been here for a couple of years, but the operation goes back probably a couple of centuries because this is the source of the raw material, the clay that is one of the two basic ingredients in making a brick. What you see behind me is an area that has been cored and is 50 feet deep with nothing but clay. The other raw material is crushed stone, which is trucked in from Massachusetts, about 30 miles away. The two are combined using a pair of hoppers side by side and then transported into the more technologically current part of the operation. Let's meet plant manager Simon Wally, who's going to give us a tour. Simon, is that all it takes? Clay and crushed stone?
Yeah, and we had some water too, Bob.
And water?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but there is a lot of machinery involved.
Right.
What's happening here?
Here we're adding the water to the mix, and this piece of equipment makes sure that we get an even blend of the clay, stone, dust and water.
What do you call this?
This is a pug mill.
A plug mill?
Yeah.
Great. And then what happens?
Well, after the material runs down here, this is what we call the de-airing chamber, where we take as much air out of the raw material as possible.
Now, why is that important?
Well, that's important because if we don't take air out of it, the extruded column will start to delaminate and the bricks will fall apart.
So the extruded product, the extrusion is what we're seeing coming out there.
That's exactly right.
And that will be cut up into bricks.
Yep.
Let's see the next step. Simon, let's talk about the extrusion process here. What's actually happening?
Okay, we're making our cord product at the moment, Bob, and we put the core holes in right up at the extruder.
Okay, so this is the same process for any kind of brick, but right now you happen to be making the cord one.
That's right.
And are there pipes or rods that...
Yeah, there are rods with a ceramic tip on the end that put the holes in.
And that, of course, we can't see.
Right.
What's happening at this station?
Right now we're cutting this section into 8-foot length to be handled over on the machine that cuts the individual bricks.
So the 8-foot lengths at this point are still pretty soft, right?
Yeah, very, yeah.
And then what happens, you have, what do you call this next machine?
Yeah, this is the cutting bank where we cut the 8-foot sections into the individual bricks.
The cutting bank. And there aren't any knives involved?
No, it's all cut by wires.
Thin wires, almost like piano wire,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And then what happens over here?
Well, once the bricks are cut into the individual units, they then put onto this machine that we call a setting machine.
A setting machine.
Right, and they are set on the kiln car, ready to go into the kiln.
All right, so it's actually a pretty simple process.
Yeah, it is.
Where is the kiln located?
The kiln's located over the far side of this wall.
Simon, this drying kiln is really a tip-off test of the vastness of the operation, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, how many brick can you make here?
Well, we can make 50 million bricks a year with, you know, 1 million bricks a week, pretty close
That's
to.
a lot of brick.
That's right.
So this is the drying kiln, and the other one is the baking kiln.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's all the ductwork and all the stuff on top?
Well, the ductwork on top essentially is to take the heat from the kiln where we fire the bricks and heat the dryer to dry them out. But some of the ductwork you see up there is part of a new project that we've been required to do by the state DEP. It's an exhaust gas cleaning device, and we've been required to do it by Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection.
What's that called, this thing that you're building under?
We call it a flue gas scrubber.
Scrubber.
Yeah, and it cleans the air before it's released into the atmosphere.
That's a pretty big proposition there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, inside here, the first step is to take the very wet mud and dry it in this drying kiln.
Right.
And then the next step, when you take it through the baking kiln, how long is it in there? For a day?
Yeah, it's about 24 hours in the actual firing kiln.
And so that when the moisture is taken out, the brick is reduced by about a...
Yeah, that's how much shrinkage takes place.
There's quite a bit of shrinkage, isn't there?
Yeah.
Now, what type of brick is this that you're making right now here?
That one is old Enfield.
Looks like an antique brick, but it's not exactly the type of antique brick that we're using.
No,
where can we see those?
That's in another department.
Now, what are the advantages of using this poured brick?
Well, the main advantage is it gives a better bonding surface for the mason when he's putting mortar in between the bricks. It also makes the bricks, we have to use 25% less material in making a poured brick than we do a solid one.
So it'll cost less?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can also put reinforcing rod through the holes, right, to get a stronger wall.
That's true, too.
Yeah. All right, now then, Simon, this is where you take these beautiful new brick and you make them look antique.
That's right. This is where we start the antique process.
Tell us how you do it.
Basically,
what's
what we're doing
happening in
is
here?
we put the brick onto this conveyor belt and run it underneath where we add colouring. Now, the colouring here is black and white for this particular product.
Is it just like a latex paint, or what is it?
Yeah, it's paint-based, but there's also some cement in there. Sometimes it's Portland, or it depends what kind of product we're making.
To make it really stick.
Exactly right.
Okay. And then in this hopper?
Yeah, then the brick are fed into this hopper where they're tumbled against one another that chips the corners off and gives them the antique look, and it takes some of the paint back off them too.
Okay, so it's really pretty simple.
Yeah, it's fairly basic.
And then as they come out on the conveyor belt, there isn't any sorting involved or anything, right?
No, because they're supposed to be an antique-looking brick anyway, so we just pull out anything that may be broken, but other than that, they go right into the cubes for shipping.
All right, so that you have the advantages of modern technology, the strength of a new brick, but the look of an antique.
That's right.
Yeah, beautiful. I better put it back in the same place. I noticed they're all in 7. Simon, thanks for the tour.
You're welcome, Bob.
They're going to look beautiful back at our place.